Hi, Assalamualaikum. Alright, so this is going to be our first topic in statistics. Right, so we are going to go to the definition of statistics first. Okay, when dealing with statistics, there are a few things that you have in your mind. First thing first, it is something related to what we call as data. Right, so in order for us to say that we are dealing with statistics, we need to have data with us. Okay, so if we have data, what are the process or what are the things that we need to do in order for us to make sure that we can have our set of data? Right, this is going to be including what we call as collection of the data, process of collection of the data. After you collect your data, you will need to have to analyze your data in order for you to understand your data, right? So, and after we analyze our data, we can actually interpret and do some presentation about the data that we have. So this is the statistics definition given by the Merriam-Webster. Okay, statistics is defined as a branch of mathematics dealing with collection, analysis, interpretation, and presentation of masses of numerical data. Right? Okay, this is another definition of statistics. It's a branch of mathematics concerned with collection, classification, analysis, and interpretation of numerical facts for drawing inferences on the basis of their quantifiable likelihood. Okay, what does it mean? Okay, a very first step that we have here, or when dealing with statistics, yes, we are still dealing with we are still talking about the word collection of data. Okay, how can we say that we are dealing with statistics when you don't collect your data yet? So the very first thing that we have in the definition of statistics is the collection of data. After you collect your data, you need to understand your data that you have, and you need to what we call as the process of classification. We classify our data and do some analysis on the data. Okay, let us give some example about how to classify the data. There are a few ways of classifying data. It can be either by the type of data that we have, which is either it is a quantitative data, qualitative data, or it can even be coming from the classification of the source, which means either the data is a secondary data or a primary data. Okay, so the third one is about analysis. When talking about analysis, we can try to imagine that when we have our data that we have already classified, we can do some analysis on the data that we have. There are, for example, process of presenting the data in the form of table, which is normally known as frequency distribution tables. After we have our frequency distribution tables, we can also try to construct the graph. Okay, so from the graph, we can try to interpret about the fact of the data that we have. And from the interpretation, we can make conclusion. Drawing inferences is actually trying to make conclusion about our data that we have. Okay, the next thing is about the purpose of statistics. Okay, what is the purpose of statistics? Right, statistics teach people to use a limited sample to make intelligent and accurate conclusion about a greater population. Right, so what is the meaning of this? Okay, in order for us to conclude about a greater population, we might not be able to collect the data from the whole population. So what we can do is, you just select a few samples in order for you to analyze, and from the analyzation of the sample data, we can make a good conclusion about a greater population, right? And we can see that when we have the data from the sample can actually represent the whole population with a certain level of confidence, Okay, we can actually present our data in the form of table, graph, and charts. And this is to present the data and trying to make it easier for you to draw the conclusion. Okay, so these are the example of the statistics that we have from Department of Statistics Malaysia. Right, we have the population of Malaysia in the second quarter of 2019. This is the demographic statistics in Malaysia. We have the statistics of live birth. We also have what we call as the death recorded in the second quarter. And this is the graph to see the live birth, the death, the natural increase, and the population. Okay, this is about the labor productivity by hours work and total hours work.